What happened was the snake became motionless and stood still. And I heard the voice of the Lord saying, "Crush the head of the serpent." So I took the staff that I had and I crushed the head of the serpent in my house, in the kitchen. And when I did that, it immediately flipped over. And what I found out later on made a symbol. I didn't notice the symbol after I killed the snake, but it was a time after when the Lord said, "Go back," because I took a picture of it. And I still have that picture today that I can show as proof. And the Lord said, "Go back and look at the picture." And I looked at the picture, and the snake, when I crushed his head, flipped over, made a S, and then curled the end of his tail like a six. And I heard the Lord say, "Do you see? Do you see?" And I kept looking, and I said, "I see a S." And then I said, "I see a six." He says the S represents Satan. The six represents 666. He said this was the indication that this was sent by Satan. And this was a message to you. And so after I killed the snake, I heard the Lord say, "Burn the snake." And so I grabbed the snake um, with a handle, something that I had in the house, the staff, and I threw it out my front door on the sidewalk. And I got some lighter fluid and I poured it on the snake. The snake was dead, didn't do anything, didn't move. And when I set it on fire, the snake begins to sit up and begin to start hissing like until it died. And I knew no one would believe me. So before I burned the snake, I called the minister friend of mine that was at the house at the time talking with me to come back. And he's seen everything. And so that was that situation. And then some time after that, I wake up with my hand burning. And I'm like, why is my hand burning? Felt like fire. And then when I looked at my hand a day later, it was a symbol of a S. And I said, "Lord, what is this?" And that's when I knew then. I said the enemy had tried to mark me. And so time went on and I dealt with after praying so much, the frogs went away, the flies went away, a lot of the demonic activity, went away. And all of a sudden, I noticed there was a small calm. And I said, okay. I said, "Lord, maybe this thing is over with." And so I decide that I'm going walking. And so as I open the front door and begin to step out, I hear a huge crash, maybe a feet or two from me. And when I turn around, it is a bird running slap into my window, almost like it was trying to hit me. And when I look behind the bird after it hit the window, it was a black raven. A black raven was chasing this bird. But it was coming directly toward me, it appeared. And when it hit the window, it hit so loud that I turned around and I yelled, "Whoa!" And when I looked down, I seen the bird and I seen the raven fly away and go sit in a tree and stayed there watching me the whole time as I am in shock of what just happened. Then I looked down at the bird, and the bird was looking directly at me that hit the window, was on the ground, and blood was coming out of its mouth. And it was just looking almost like it wanted to say something, trying to tell me something. And then I look up in the tree, and the raven stays there the whole time watching me. And I heard the voice of the Lord say, "Now go for a walk. And when you come back, you will not see the bird." I need you to understand that when people that works for the devil using demonic spells and powers, they can use animals as well to spy, to watch, to see what you are doing. And when I left, I left the bird on the front porch dead with blood coming out of his mouth on the ground.